If you can't deliver value to them, the conversation becomes obsolete. Why do they need to talk to you? If you're somebody that could just teach them how to work out in a place they already pay to work out, that's probably not very valuable, right? But if you could provide them with a unique solution that only you offer in a defined timeline without all their undesirables, okay, that's worth a conversation. I am going to get my blood work done. I feel so fucking off, man. Like, I'm so used to like waking up at 3:30 and like hitting the ground running, but with blood work you got to be fasted. So I didn't wake up early. Well, I did wake up early. I made my wife's lunch and got her stuff prepared for the day, and then I went back to bed. But now I have to drive out to this place and get my blood work done. And I haven't eaten anything or drinking anything. I mean, I've had some water, but I tell you, it is literally a pain. Turn off. It's a pain in the ass to throw off your routine. And this is why I like to try to do the same shit every day. I have my sales meeting today, so I'm bringing some energy drinks for my team. So I run sales meetings once a week on Fridays around like 11 o'clock. And what I do is I just essentially try to teach my team how to sell high ticket. So that's what I've been coached in. That's what I know how to do. So what I do is I try to help my staff understand, you know, being that we're in Scottsdale, like it's a value-driven marketplace, which essentially means that people here own businesses, they have wealth, their mindsets are different, and you can't transact somebody like that, somebody who's been a veteran in business or sales themselves, right? Like you need to provide them with value. What they do have is money. What they don't have is time, and they don't have skills either, right? So like they're missing something. So what can you provide them in terms of value that's going to save them time, maybe even save them some money and save them effort on their part? So I start off by trying to teach them all personal branding and specializing, because if you're talking to everybody, then you're talking to nobody at all. You know, if you got something wrong with you that's specific, usually your primary care physician will refer you to a specialist, right? Because specialists, some dust on there, specialists are known for something specific, so they know exactly who to go to. Also, when you're a specialist, you could systemize your business, right? Which means I know what types of people that I'm bringing through the door and that I'm working with and that I'm coaching, and that can help me make informed decisions about how to go about systemizing everything around it, right? Like, what does my intake look like? How do I go about my coaching procedures? You know, how do I go about like planning out their schedule and their coaching? You know, what sort of business assets can I deliver them? Like, am I giving them meal plans? Am I giving them things to do at home, virtual programs? What do those entail? What's the frequency? Like, there's a lot of things that you can provide in terms of value that supersede you just coming in for a workout, because people don't want to pay to work out in a place they already pay to work out, right? That seems redundant. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you provide value. Now with me, I've always been a body recomp specialist. I can throw 15 pounds of muscle on someone's frame in 3 months, you know, given they do everything that I tell them to do, right? We need to get blood work done. You know, we need to train 4 times a week together. I'm controlling your entire diet, you know, the supplements that you take, you know, lifestyle habit formation, which essentially just means like on a day-to-day basis, what other activities are you doing outside of work to mitigate stress and to promote recovery? And all those factors considered, I want to make sure that I can have full control of the outcome, right? So I can guarantee results. And that's essentially providing value. So that in itself is one of the ways that I put my focus on helping educate my team, is like, what can you provide to a client, to a prospect, that makes it enticing to work with you? It makes it stupid to say no. Like, I have too many people that want to work with me, and I have to turn people away, or I just can't take them on. And And it's because I've learned to brand and specialize. And now people know what to come to me for, right? And I try to tell my team, do you want to go hunting or do you want to go fishing, right? Fishing's peaceful. The fish come to you, right? Hunting, you got to go out there and you got to fucking find people. Sometimes you're waiting all day long and you can't find someone, right? And at that point, it's kind of slim pickings. You get what you get. But fish, you can attract them with a very specific bait. I know what fish I'm searching for, so I know what bait I'm using, right? So, you want to fish, you don't want to hunt. So, in terms of this, when I'm helping my team understand sales dynamics and education, it comes down to first understanding what you can provide and what you can offer, right? Because the conversation can go on and on and on about all the things that you could do for them. But what's the promise? You know, what's the defined end offer? What can you offer me in a defined timeline that fits the bill, right? That, seems enticing. Like I try to tell my team, I'm like, system is actually an acronym. Save yourself time, effort, and money. System, acronym. And the reason why people get liposuction and they'll spend 10, 20, 30 grand on liposuction, but they won't spend 5, 10, 15 grand on personal training is because they lowered the effort barrier and the time barrier. So it becomes very valuable. So somebody can just go lay down on the fucking table, go to sleep, they extract the fat out of their gross body, and then they wake up the next day, they take some painkillers, and all they got to do is rest and recover, and they're skinnier, right? They don't have to work out for months on end, be uncomfortable, change their diet and lifestyle, which they still should, right? But they don't have to. And that's why they charge more money for it. Now, if you could provide somebody something that says, hey, you don't got to cut up your stomach and get some weird surgery and take all these random medications and antibiotics that end up killing your stomach, and all these drugs that end up, creating the potentiality for addiction. Instead, what you can do is you can work out conservatively, you could build a skill, you can partner with your body, right? And you can get the results that you're looking for and then some, because you're not just going to lose weight, you're going to build muscle, tone the body, and you're going to be able to keep this fat off for good. See, the thing with liposuction is fat tissue can rejuvenate. It can expand. And you can get fat again. It's not permanent, right? But what is permanent is skills. When you learn how to do this shit right, you don't have to fucking, worry about falling off, right? It's a skill. You pay for the skill. You also pay for hitting the bullseye and preventing injury. You're paying for accountability and structure. You're paying for the opportunity to change your frame and architecture of mind, right? You're viewing yourself as an asset now. You're not viewing yourself as a liability. Oh shit, I got to eat healthy food. Oh shit, I got to go to the gym. It's like, no, man. Is that how you view your business? Right? I have to do this. I have to do that. Why do you fucking do it then? Go get a job, right? You made these decisions because it's important to you to have autonomy, control. You want to do something that you're more intrinsically linked with. So why the fuck would you not treat yourself that way too? And also the return potential, right? Like the return potential of owning your own business means you get freedom of your own time. At some point, you could step away from your business and the thing can generate you money, depending on the business, obviously, right? However, that's the idea. So if you can understand that investment mentality and you can learn to put that into something like yourself, like your health, you're going to walk around with your Lamborghini. You don't need to buy an expensive car. You are your expensive car, right? The way you feel, the way you think, you got to realize everything is centered around you because it is your life, right? Your health is literally the linchpin of your entire reality. If you feel like shit, if you have poor quality thoughts, if you're emotionally a wreck, if you have trouble having relationships, professional presentation for business reasons, people are always judging you. But if you can actually control that paradigm by literally just investing into yourself and becoming healthier, stronger, more confident, like, what else you need? So look, If you're out there right now and you're considering investing into your health, I hope you already do. Just know that it is it is literally the best asset that you will ever invest into. If you can prove me otherwise, then I'll admit that I'm wrong. But here's what I'll tell you. For the last 15 years, I've worked with entrepreneurs. All shapes and sizes. People that own Fiji Islands. People that bring home 100 million plus a year in profit. I've worked with high-level, like politicians, social media influencers, billion-dollar CEOs. Like, look, my friend, I could tell you one thing they all have in common is they learn to prioritize themselves. Skill development, okay? Are you developing skills that are helping progress your life? Are you viewing yourself as an asset or a liability? Are you viewing the world as problems or opportunities? Or not or. That's just, either or. What are you viewing? What's your reality? I've had no caffeine yet today, so if I'm kind of mumbling or rambling, I apologize. Anyway, getting back to reality here, I got my sales meeting today, and this is essentially the stuff that I try to help cover with my team because it really comes down to a frame of mind. The only difference between wealthy people and poor people is their mindset. There is no limits to their capacity and capabilities. Like, sure, there's varying levels of intelligence, but I've met some stupid motherfuckers that used to cut grass that now make $100 million a year. It's not that hard, right? You just need to learn the high-income skills. Selling, marketing, branding, things that help actually drive and provide value and also pull people that are wealthy to you, right? Like, I'm not going to meet these people in stores, at Whole Foods and have an hour-long intimate conversation with them. They have no reason to talk to me, right? However, if I can provide them with immense value, they have a reason to talk to me. They have a reason to listen to me, right? So, that's what I teach on Fridays. I'm so fucking tired. Like, it's not even the caffeine. I think it's the food. I'm used to eating at like 3 in the morning. I usually already have like 2 meals in me. I have a shake and I have my first meal. And I literally have a gallon of water in me with electrolytes and aminos and creatine and L-carnitine and glutamine. And I don't have shit in me right now besides a little bit of water. I have a coffee sitting next to me. That's going to be nice to have. 4 shots of espresso right there with some ice and vanilla collagen protein in it. And then I got 2 rice cakes and then a protein shake. That's what I'm going to have for my first meal of the day. Yes, sir. Just chugging along here, but going to get some blood work done. So the first thing I'm going to do is go do that. Once the blood work gets finished, I'll head back. I'm going to head to work. The second that blood work is finished, I'm going to start fucking eating my shake and drinking my fucking coffee. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to head to work. And then I'm going to prepare my deck for today for my presentation. I got a meeting at 10. And then I got some clients. And then my day will end around 5 o'clock. Look at that yawn. I hope that made you yawn too. Yawns are a contagion, which essentially means that when we witness or we're around or we observe or we're in close proximity, other people yawn. Why? We don't know. They believe that yawning has to do with low oxygenation in the blood. But why is it contagious then? Why is it when you see one person do it, you do another? Like, you can see somebody, doing anything. You can see somebody picking their nose, but that's not going to make you pick your nose, Maybe it will. I don't know. Maybe I'm making assumptions. Anyway, conversation is going to start getting weird because I'm tired. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this here. And I'll see if I can get a clip of that lady jabbing my fucking veins. Make her morning. This building is very nice. No, I just need to go get it done.
Fasting?
Yes. Unfortunately.
coming in early.
Yeah.
That's good.
Need some food. Thank you. I got a tan on me too. I'm sorry about that. I had a bodybuilding competition last weekend.
Oh.
Now it's time to get some blood work.
All right. Little poke.
Let me just
Do
get
it
all
like
those
that.
right there. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, got them all done. Well, that only took about a minute and a half. That's what happens when you got some big veins and a lot of blood to give. So we're all set today. Now I'm gonna go into the car because I need some fucking food really badly and some caffeine. So off we go. Let's start the day, friends. All done. Look at that cute little purple bandage they gave me. And a lady was saying that people like avoid coming in to get their blood work done because they're so scared. I'm like, lady, I need to get this shit done more often, right? Every 3 months. You got to take care of your health. You got to see where everything sits. Okay, I need to drink this. Sorry. Give me a second. Okay. I need at least a little bit in there. So in here, I have 40 grams of oats, 20 grams of raisins, and about 70 grams of whey. And this is going to disappear in a second. And then I got 2 rice cakes, cinnamon flavor, and my coffee. In my wife's cup. So, yeah, we're all finished with that. So now I'm going to drink this, drink my coffee, have my rice cakes on the way in, and then I'm going to get started with my day. But yeah, that's it. If you guys are scared to get your blood work done, you need to. I think a lot of people get scared of it because they're scared that they think something's going to be wrong with them. But how the hell do you know? You know, how, like, are you just going to avoid the things that could potentially be harming you? Figure it out, right? See what's going on. Get a look under the hood there and take care of yourself. So, all right, friends, I'm going to head out to work now. So I will see you in a little bit. So I made it to the gym and look who I have here.
Wow, you look nice.
Crab Ass Supreme.
You're crab ass.
You know, little crybaby.
You're such a crab. Holy shit. I just saw Patrick.
Let's walk
You're
over.
flying, Patrick.
Yeah, let's walk over here. I want to get some of these like fucking trees. Dude, so like it rained last night.
On top of this
I know.
Honda.
I know. So it rained last night here, right? And the crazy thing about Arizona is it doesn't rain very often, but when it does, all these trees, since they're so dry, they fucking snap in half. So let me show you. This is crazy.
Well, I think this one is actually out from the root. But there are so
No,
many.
this
It was
one's
like-
no. Look, it literally snapped in half.
Oh yeah, that one's not. The one down there is.
Holy crap! Let me get that. All right. Well,
We'll do it again. We'll figure out how to do it. Here you go.
it looks like somebody is gonna have a bad day here. Oh man, look at that.
I know. See, I know that. I know. Don't worry.
I wonder when that happened.
All right. Bye bye.
This is pretty crazy. Check this out. This thing snapped in half. Clean down the center. And now it is on top of someone's car. Oh my God. Man, what a day. What do you even tell insurance at that point? Shit. That's not even all of them. Look at this. There's one over there that's down. There's like 2 all the way down the road right over here. That's way down there. But the crazy part about Arizona, look at this, taking up 2 parking spots over here. That's wild. Okay, what a day. Good old Friday for you. Somebody's gonna have a bad day. So, all right. Let me go grab my stuff now and head inside. I got a lot of shit to carry, so I'm not going to be able to film until I actually get inside. So, okay. So, I am going to sit here in the cafe. Like, usually when I'm doing any type of administrative work, I actually like to focus on sitting downstairs. I don't like to be in my office all cooped up. I just don't like the way it feels. I like to be out here. I like members to see me, and then if my staff has any questions, then they can call up and they can ask me. And also, it gives me good access for when I have to eat, which I'm going to have to do in about roughly an hour-ish here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on building my deck for my sales presentation, and it's going to be focused on personal branding, like I was mentioning. So, helping people specialize, individualize, and learn how to fish instead of hunt and attract clients to them. So I'm going to jump into this, do a little bit of work here, and then we'll go from there. I haven't actually done my sales meeting in a couple weeks here because my competition has shifted my schedule in the past, and I had to keep pushing these off. But the team tends to like these sales meetings, so I'm going to make sure that I keep them in. So I'm going to work on this for an hour or so. I'll eat my meal, then I have a meeting, and then I'll see if I can even get some footage of the sales meeting itself when I go to present some of this information. So, all right, friends, I'm going to get to work. All right, everybody ready to get started? How we doing today? Good? Right. All right, pop in, guys. Grab an energy drink. You're going to walk past the camera. Make sure you smile. Oh, it's in the corner there. Trevor, don't sit there. I have my camera set up. You in the baby blue today. Look at you. Guys, 60 XT's over. We need some new shirts here. All right. We have a lot to cover today, and this is going to be a very good presentation, okay? We're going to be covering mainly personal branding, okay? High-ticket sales, how to attract the clients that you want. So we're going to cover a lot. So we're going to actually skip over the wins and obstacles today. We can kind of cover that a little bit later once we have some more time. But I really want to get through all this information today. It's pretty dense, but at the same time, it's very useful. Okay, when we think about sales, the first thing we need to think about is how we think about it. Okay, what is our mindset around it? If your clients come in here and think, I have to work out, oh, I got to eat bland foods, right? They're setting themselves up for a negative system of thinking, and it's not going to help them see any type of progress. If you guys think you have to make sales, or it's scary to ask people for money, or that this stuff is expensive, well, then you're setting yourself up for a system of failure, right? I'm going to show you today how to think differently about that, and also how to attract people through personal branding, okay? Because who wants to fish instead of hunt here? Yeah, me too, right? I don't want to have to go out on the floor and have to find somebody every single time I need a client, right? I want them to come to me because they know what to come to me for. So we're going to talk about my high-ticket sales system. Guys, I just want to be transparent with you. I probably spent $100,000 on learning this information, and I want to give it to you today for free, okay? Now, does that seem valuable?
Yeah.
That's how you want to position offers for your clients, okay? There's a little tip for you right there, right out the gate. Anyway, sales mindset, and we'll do a little bit of self-reflection exercises towards the end if we don't have a lot of time. But we're going to mainly spend our time today focused on this high-ticket sales system, okay? So let's get started with that. There's really only 3 stages we need to be concerned with. The first one is understanding consumer psychology. Does anybody know what consumer psychology is? Very, very basically, how they think, right? Their value systems, right? Did you want to say something, Celia? No. Okay, yeah. Okay, so also building a personal brand around your customer through specialization. Guys, this is gonna be very important, okay? And then also we're creating an offer and elevator pitches through USPs, right? So through unique selling propositions. Go ahead, friend, welcome. There she is. A nail appointment today or no?
No, I just trained my client.
Oh, okay, oh, you're good. Yeah, I'm just fucking with you, don't worry. All right, and then lastly, creating an offer and elevator pitch through USPs. Does anybody know what a USP is? Yes, unique selling proposition. We're going to learn a lot about that today. These are just fancy terms. It's like if you're talking to your clients and you're talking about like a muscle, your latissimus or some shit. Like you wouldn't say that to a client, right? You'd explain, hey, it's your muscle right here underneath your armpits. You see this one right here, right? I'm going to teach you the lingo today, but I'm going to also teach you how to understand it and apply it because that's what's more important, right? Okay. So let's talk a little about consumer psychology. So there's demographics versus a psychographic. Before you look at this slide right here, do you know the difference between the two? Don't cheat. Don't cheat. Do you know the difference between a demographic and a psychographic? Roughly. That's okay if you don't, right? We're going to learn some stuff today. So a demographic is just how we character type people, right? So it's age, gender, race, location, employment status, how much money they make, where they live, right? Very basic information. Now, if you try to sell based on demographics, you're going to end up screwing yourself over. Okay? You need to sell based on a psychographic, right? Their personality, their values, their attitudes, their interests, their lifestyle, right? These are things that are going to be more intrinsically linked to them. All right? Now, for instance, if I'm working with an entrepreneur, the way that I talk to them is going to be much different than I talk to a 70-year-old retired engineer. Do you know what I'm saying? The technicality, the language, You know, the barrier of communication is going to be much different than it's going to be with an entrepreneur, right? Okay, one's more quick-paced thinking, more risk-averse. One's a little bit more conservative and technical, right? So those two people are going to be talked to in very different ways. I'll use a more exaggerated example. Training an 18-year-old high school football athlete versus a 65-year-old lady who's got knee pain. Are you talking to them the same way? Probably not, right? Probably not. So we need to make sure we're talking to the people the right way. Now, if I'm trying to give dietary information to a vegan and I don't even eat vegetables because I don't believe in them, right? That's going to really change the conversation I have. There is no helping that person now. Now, some of you are going to the market focusing on demographics, but you have a conflict of psychographics. You guys aren't even talking to the client in the right way, right? So we're going to teach you how to talk to them the right way by using the right language, okay? Does that make sense? Okay? So we want to focus on value-driven marketplaces, and this is what I talk about. People want solutions, they don't want sessions. And if you set yourself up and position yourself with a sale and you're like, hey, you want to buy some sessions? We've had this situation before where we've had a lady call up here and say, well, my son's a private pilot, you know, and he makes $90 an hour. Why do you guys make more than him? There really is no arguing with that, right? I mean, I understand her rationale with that, right? However, if you sell based on a session, there's argument there. You sell based on a solution, well, your son can't help you lose 15 pounds in the next 60 days, lady, so this is the price you're paying, right? Solutions, not sessions. So value-driven marketplaces. We are also in the second largest millionaire hub in the world. These people have different value systems. And when you start talking to them, you realize that very quickly. If you can't deliver value to them, the conversation becomes obsolete. Why do they need to talk to you? If you're somebody that can just teach them how to work out in a place they already pay to work out, that's probably not very valuable, right? But if you could provide them with a unique solution that only you offer in a defined timeline without all their undesirables, okay, that's worth a conversation, right? We're going to talk about that today. Okay. So value propositioning and USP, okay? We're going to have another slide on this in a second, but essentially this is going to help us create an irresistible offer that's exclusive to you, and that's important information, right? Why are you different than someone else, and what offer do you offer that someone else and maybe that does weight loss not offer, right? Maybe you got two people that do weight loss. But even if you go into medical specialties, right? You can go into plastic surgery and one person can focus on boobs, right? Let's cut that out of the, we'll cut that one out there. A little bit of HR problem there, right? No, but one person could focus on nose reconstruction and one person could focus on burn victims, right? Like they have different areas of expertise, they can further subspecialize. Now, when you further subspecialize, there's a lot of unique qualities that come with that, specifically the predictability that it creates in your own business, right? What if you had everybody that was doing the same things because they came to you with the same problems and they had the same value systems and you talked to them in the same ways, right? That makes it very easy, right? You got a general practitioner, which we're going to talk about in a second, like a physician, right? A primary care physician. Well, this person's got gonorrhea. This person's got a boo-boo on their knee. This person's got some sort of like weird rash underneath their armpit. This person's got a cough, right? It's so unpredictable. And they get paid the least. Isn't that crazy? You get so much variety and they get paid the least. What if you can get paid more to deal with one problem? Would that be pretty cool or what? Creates a lot of predictability, right? That's what I'm saying, right? So standing out in the crowd, what do you do? Okay, Gideon's new here. Does everybody know what Gideon does? Yeah. What does he do?
Cupping and scraping.
And his haircut's from Africa.
Who else does that here? Yeah.
Oh, shoot. You told him that.
So who else does that here? Who else does cupping and scraping here? Nobody.
Don't think about adding it.
Yeah. He's like, hell no, brother. That's mine. That is mine. That's my market. Okay, so does... King of the Hill over there. So does everybody understand the difference between psychographics and demographics now? Okay? One is more based on the person's, like, psychology. One is just based on their circumstances that really are irrelevant. Does it matter if you work with someone who's 50 years old or 55 years old? If you're helping them with weight loss?
No.
That's not that significant, right? Does it matter if they're male or female if you're working with them in terms of weight loss?
Probably, yeah.
Probably, right? They have different value systems. They think differently, right? They have different lifestyles, right? They have different hormones in their body, right? There's a little bit of difference in that, right? But that's still not as strong as saying, hey, this person is an entrepreneur in real estate, right? This person is an engineer. The engineer thinks the person that's an entrepreneur is stupid. And here's what's funny about that. They say the A students, right, work for the C students. The B students work for the government, and the D students donate the buildings, right? Yeah, he's the one who told me that one, actually. So what you need to think about too is like demographics and psychographics vastly different. You want to sell based on psychographics because it's going to create a better relationship with the client. The conversation goes more smoothly and your offer is positioned much better than saying, hey, I help dads lose weight. The fuck, so does 100 other people in this market, right? All right, so elevating your personal brand. Let's talk a little bit about that, okay? So what is a personal brand, right? Everybody kind of roughly know what a personal brand is? Now, if anybody says Gino, can you kind of figure out what I'm going to say, what I'm going to think, how I'm going to respond to things?
Follow up with brother.
Exactly, right? But seriously, there's characteristics that you think about if someone were to bring me into a conversation, okay? That's a personal brand. That's predictable. I know I'm putting a stake in the ground saying this is who I am as a person. I don't care if you're okay with that or not. This is who I am. Because when you create polarity, some people are like, hell yes, and some people are like, hell no, and that's a very good thing, right? You don't want to talk to everybody because then you're talking to nobody. Nobody feels compelled. I'll tell you right now, have you ever seen people online argue in YouTube comments or something like that, or Instagram comments with each other, and the person they're arguing about hasn't even said anything? They're fighting each other now. Some people will disagree with other people just to disagree with other people. And if that person says, man, this is totally wrong, somebody may come on there and say, actually, you're wrong, buddy. And so is your mom for borning you, right? They'll throw some weird comment in there, right? Now people are fighting for no other reason except something that you've said because it was a polar statement. You're creating pole. We talk about fishing, right? Polarity. How can you pull people to you? You're also going to repel people away from you, okay? And that's okay. You don't want to work with everybody, right? So if you're talking to everybody, then you're talking to no one. It was one of the most valuable lessons I learned in marketing, because if I'm trying to say that I help women lose weight, well, there's a lot of women that need to lose weight. How much weight? From where? What type of women do you work with? Right? Give me some more specifics. Hey, I help single Christian women that have, 3 kids lose belly fat because they're too busy, working at the practice, right? I also help them do it without lifting heavy weights, eating bland foods, or running. Are you curious to have a conversation? Well, that isolates my market pretty fucking heavily, don't you think? That narrows it down a little bit, right? Okay, so that's what you want to do, is you want to narrow down your market. Does everybody know who this is? Why do we know who that is? Okay, let me ask you a question. What does Dwayne Johnson do? What is he known for? Okay.
A lot of shit.
Okay, a lot of shit, right? Because he has a brand. Okay, his name is The Rock. That's not even his real name. He built a brand. Do you guys see what I'm trying to say? Okay, you know what this is? His tequila brand. Did you know it's the most profitable tequila brand in the world? $3.5 billion in sales. The one underneath them was like, I forget what the high brand tequila is because I'm not a drinker. It was Patron. It was Patron, yeah. Patron was underneath at $2 billion. He has $1.5 billion more for a company that's probably been in business for over 100 years, making tequilas. Why? Do you think his brand of tequila is better?
No.
No, it probably sucks. But why? Why is that so valuable? His image, his brand. People are buying it because of him. They're not buying it because it's tequila, right? People buy coaches, not coaching. Why do they want to work with you? For the same reason why somebody doesn't want to work with you, right? Because of who you are. You need to be polar, right? Here's Zoa, $100 million in sales. This is the shittiest energy drink I've ever had in my entire life. It tastes like dirty water. Seriously, it's really bad. No buzz from it, tastes terrible, bad flavor profile. Yeah, exactly. It sucks, right? Why are they doing $100 million in sales per year?
Like the taste of dirty water.
Exactly, right? Because you like the taste of dirty water, that government poison tap water, right? It's because it's Dwayne Johnson, right? That's why. It doesn't matter what he sells. He can sell you a polished turd and you'll take it, right? I mean, people buy like celebrities Kleenex and socks and underwear online. right? Do you guys want to buy my underwear or socks? No, right? Because I don't have a big brand like he does, okay? So I want you to think you are the brand, okay? You're the brand. You're advocating for yourself. Now that should really change the way that you position yourself when you're out there on the floor. How are people seeing you? Because they're always watching. They are always watching. These people are extremely perceptive. Any screw up. I'll tell you right now, I don't want to work with a trainer that's sitting at the desk doing nothing, right? Oh, that's the one that nobody wants to work with because they suck. That's the assumption I would make. You could be the best trainer in the world, but you can't change their perspective of you unless you try to control it, right? I'm controlling my brand image constantly and so is Devontae out there. Everybody knows him. Oh shit, you know? Let's go, working out with his clients, looking like he's on speed all the time, right? But hey, people see that and they're like, I want you to work with my kid, right? You're the type of energy that I want, okay? He's building a brand for himself. How do you stand out from everybody else? If I start saying who does this in here, start clapping, you say Devontae does, right? If I say his name, you think about how he is. Everyone in here should have an extremely polar part of their personality where people immediately know what they're about. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so that's why Dwayne Johnson's so filthy rich. I think his net worth is like $800 million, which is crazy, right? And it's only because he's built a brand. Same thing with, who's the Kardashian that made the makeup brand? Kylie. Is it Kylie? Okay, so okay, but then you got Kardashians, right? Branding. Is there anything unique about them? One of them had a sex tape with a famous person, right? But you want to know what made them famous? Their mom's a marketing genius and said, I'm going to brand their lifestyle. I'm going to brand being a Kardashian. It was a way of life. It was a system of thinking, right? It was a way girls express themselves. So what do they start doing? Well, I'll sell them makeup. I'll sell them clothes. And guess what? Is it that much better than any of the other makeup or clothing brands that have been around for 100+ years with the technology, the resources, and the capital to do it? No. So why do they pass them up? Because of branding. Does anybody watch YouTube videos, YouTube vloggers at all? There's one that I follow who, his name's Max Tuning. He's just some random like YouTube vlogger. Literally nothing significant about this kid whatsoever. He was a crappy power lifter. He made a candy company with $50,000. He sold to Hershey's for $100 million.
The sour strips, guys.
Sour strips. $100 million he sold it for. This kid was filming videos in his parents' house, working out, doing powerlifting videos, and he's scrawny and has no significant elements to his personality besides he's quirky and silly. But he built a successful candy company he sold for $100 million to Hershey's. Because he built a brand. He built a brand for himself. People will buy stuff from you just to support you if you show them your struggles and your upbringing, right? That's part of the personal branding process. It's not just saying, hey, I'm the best all the time. How can people connect with you? You know, are you showing vulnerability? You got to think about these things. When you're building something, how do people connect with you? If I sell you all good things all the time, there's no ability for you to connect with me. But if I say, dude, I suck at this. I talk to Ashley all the time about the shit I suck with. She could tell you, right? I fumble the ball. I forget things. You know, people mess up, okay? But people connect with people that seem human, okay? And that's part of the personal branding image that I want you to pull out, okay? So, niche. Everybody thinks they know what a niche is, right? Niche is not a person, it's a problem that you solve. People say, I work with women. That's not a niche. That's a gender, right? You need to think about this much differently. It's a problem, okay? What problem do you solve? What's your niche market? Okay? When I say, what's your niche? You say, well, I like to work with women. What type of women? What problems do they have? What solutions do you offer them? Use these questions. Be specific. Close off your market nice and tight, okay? Fish instead of hunt, like I was saying. Have a bait, right? If you don't know who your client is, you don't know what bait to use, right? And you're just kind of guessing. And what most people's solution to this is they just cast a big net. They think, well, that's going to help me. I'm just going to get a bunch of clients, right? No, that's not going to work because then you become diluted. Why would somebody work with you when you're casting this large net? I work with grandmas. I work with young kids. I work with middle-aged men. I work with moms who need to lose weight, right? Well, then what do you do exactly? I don't know. Why would I come to you and not somebody else? I talked to somebody the other day and they said, well, why wouldn't I just get a trainer from off the street? Why would I work with you? I'm like, that's what I'm talking about right there. Like, how do you differentiate, right? Why do people choose certain brands over others? Strictly for brand loyalty reasons? What makes you resonate with the brand? What makes you follow people online like influencers? What is it that's attracting you to that person, okay? You need to figure out what niche market you solve in here so you could become that. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so don't cast to all fish, find the right one, and then you execute on that one. Okay, that's the one I want right there every single time. I'm gonna keep drilling at it until I get that person. Okay? Now we go into specialists versus generalists, and this is a very big topic that you really, really need to understand. Okay, like I was mentioning with the physician example, you have all this variety and you need to get paid the least, right? Nobody wants that. Your schedule becomes unpredictable, right? The clients are unreliable. You have no system in place. It's just pure chaos of random clients doing random things on random days, and it's so much to keep track of, and you're not even getting paid for it. Does that sound like a problem or what?
Yeah.
I mean, I've used to train like 13 clients in a day, and they were all doing different things, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna kill myself, right? There's too much going on, too much variation, too much variety. I can't scale anything like that. Everybody knows what scaling is. It's growing, right? Growing in business. You can't scale a model that has so much unpredictability to it. You need a system, okay? And systems sound scary until you realize how simple they can become and how much easier they make your life. I'll give you an example. Imagine if you guys had to take cash from every single one of your clients and you had to go downstairs and put it in the register, and at the end of the day you had to take that money, you need to go all the way to the bank and deposit it every single day with every single transaction that you did, and then you need to log it manually in a book and keep track of an accounting book, and at the end of the month you need to make sure you balance a spreadsheet. Imagine if you had to do all that shit. And some of you complain that excerpt lags sometimes.
Sometimes.
You see what I'm saying? That's a system, right? That system takes away all that, and they tracks your client sessions, houses all their information, right? Everything becomes itemized and everything becomes more efficient. Now, the system itself isn't the problem, right? Yeah, it's usually the operator, generally, right? And you can always tweak systems, right? But the idea is building one that fits around your business model and your clientele, so it makes it super easy, right? Because it creates a predictable system, okay? So, in this way, you can create business assets, templated program designs, schedule consistency, and better retention, okay? Who doesn't want that, right? Better retention, that sounds fantastic. Imagine if you didn't have to resell clients, you had the same ones. Kept buying, kept buying, kept buying, kept buying. That's the reality, right? That's what can happen when it takes place, okay? So business assets, what I mean by that is when you have a system designed around one specific person and problem that you solve, I could say, hey, I'm immediately gonna deliver you business assets, which is saying, hey, like I have a meal plan templated for this program, right? I have a supplement stack templated for this program. I have, maybe if you're in a pain-based market, I have at-home exercises for when your lower back gets tight, right? You have a sheet that you give them or like some sort of e-file you send them, right? You have like a checklist. Maybe they have a program that's inside their phone that they could check off all their daily habits with, so they don't have to like remember them off the top of their head or take a pencil and paper or even check them off in an iPhone note. Everything's housed within a contained system for them. You have a business asset. What can you give them when they leave here to make them feel like they actually got something from this? Because guys, when they swipe their card, right? Like, what did I get exactly? Time with you at some point that I haven't experienced yet? I don't have anything. I'm $3,000 lighter and I don't have anything to really, what is this? Okay? And even a business asset could also be tasks that they do. Hey, when you leave here today, here's 3 things you're gonna work on immediately, right? Because you have a system, but the problem is right now you have a client that has a random goal, random timeline, it's just randomness everywhere. It's hard to predict and create business assets for that when everybody's different. Do you see what I'm saying? But when everybody's similar, you could streamline that process. You can also template programs. Anybody here think anybody needs a extremely custom templated program? Or extremely custom, I just messed that up. Does anybody here need a perfectly customized program right from the gate if they're doing nothing from the start?
No.
No. No, they don't. Now, with your coaching, you can modify in session, right? You could advance them in some way. You can regress them. You could progress them. You could change the exercise profile. But when you're making a template right off the gate, you should not need to have a different one for every single person. Guys, they're not doing anything, right, at all. So as a coach, you can make modifications to your templated design, but you should have something pre-made in advance to where you can edit and modify it, right? Instead of making everything from scratch, okay? That makes your job really hard. Now, when you do this enough, here's the thing, is you say, Gino, what if people come in when they have a bad knee? What happens when they come when they have bad this? If you design the unique client that you're looking for, you're gonna know every problem that they have in advance, right? I'm not looking for people that got bum knees and bad backs if they're trying to build 15 pounds of muscle in 3 months, right? That's not my market. I say, buddy, you need to go get your shit fixed with this guy over here before you come to me. right? Because we're two different people. We provide different services, right? You go to a cardiologist and you say, hey, something's wrong with my skin. Can you check that out real quick? They're like, nope, see you later. Go to the dermatologist, wait 3 months to go see them, right? They're not overstepping their bounds because also it's a headache they don't want to have, okay? You don't want that either. Schedule consistency. My 4-day-a-week clients are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I have a break Wednesday. How cool is that? When you have 4-day-a-week clients that train on those days. That's pretty cool, right? That's what you want. I know exactly what they're training. Guess what Monday is? Chest and shoulders for everybody. Guess what Tuesday is? Back. Wednesday, everybody takes a break because now they're blown out, right? And then when they come back on Thursday, they're doing legs immediately. And then they do arms and abs, so that sets them up for their weekends to go out to their clubs or whatever the fuck they're doing, right? Make them feel good about themselves, get the beach muscles going, right? And their weekend, they're feeling great now. They're not feeling like, oh shit, my legs are screwed, right? So I have it set up with schedule consistency because I hate scheduling. I don't know about you guys. It drives me literally nuts. That's why whenever you guys set up a meeting, they say, find something on my schedule, put it in there, right? I hate it, right? I hate it, okay? This is very difficult. And then better retention. So when you can control all these variables in a line, you're gonna get better retention. Now, becoming a specialist means that you're gonna get better retention. This is what this has come down to. Because you have a system in place that's gonna create a predictable result with a predictable schedule that you can give business assets out to, you have programs designed for, and now your job becomes a money printing machine. Okay? Who wants that? Not all of us, right? Maybe we're in the wrong room, I don't know. All right, so the right bait for the right fish. That's what you want to think, okay? Because when I have that set up, I attract that person. So what I want to think about this is, let's use this in more practical terms. You have the right workshop. Now that I know who I'm looking for, I'm going to have the right workshop, right? Like I mentioned to people, if people are looking for weight loss, right, they generally sign into nutrition consults. Now, do they want to learn about food or do they want to learn to lose weight? They want to learn to lose weight. They know food's part of that equation, right? So they're going to come to a nutrition workshop. So why not put weight loss workshop or weight loss nutrition? Just do that. Watch how many people sign into it, right? Okay. So you have the right workshop with the right offer attached. And this is what most of us miss right here. We're like, man, my workshops I'm getting some people in, but I can't convert them. Well, it's because you don't have the right offer attached to it at the end. Did you know why they came in the first place? Have you asked them? Have you done a little bit of research? Or have you identified your client in advance to make sure you make the targeted workshop the right bait? Right? If you have the wrong bait, you're looking at the fish like, well, this isn't what I wanted, right? That's what ends up happening, right? So if you want to have the right offer, you got to know who the right client is and design the right workshop around it. Okay, so you pull that person into your system. This is your system right here. The right workshop, the right offer, and then using the right language for the right person, okay? Now, like I was mentioning, if you have a 60-year-old lady who's on Medicare, I'm going to be talking to her much differently than I'm going to be talking to a dude that's an entrepreneur that wants to build some muscle. I'm going to say, hey man, you know what your problem is you think you can do this yourself still, and that's arrogant, right? You don't have time. So when you do show up here, you want to make sure you hit the bullseye. I travel every week. Well, then that's good for that you have an appointment set up then, right? Otherwise, you're going to negotiate with it. And look, I know you're a man of investing, right? Do you not see this as worth it? Okay? The conversation changes. If I talk to some old lady, I'm going to talk to her about like playing with her grandkids. I'm like, look, do you want to be able to get up and down from the ground and play with your grandkids without your knees being in pain? Like, look, I'm not going to promise adding years to your life, but I am going to promise adding life to your years, okay? I'm going to focus on quality, right? Your well-being, your energy levels, right? I want to make sure that you have a reason to get out of bed in the morning because you're coming here and you're excited to do something. You're not intimidated at the gym anymore, right? Your knees no longer hurt you. Stairs no longer intimidate you. How many more things can you do in your day now that you're preventing yourself from doing because this pain's there? Let's fix that. How about we fix that for good? You're already getting a free membership here. Let's just figure out a way to make this work, right? You're changing the conversation. It's much different around each person. So we need to have the right language. Does that make sense? Okay. And then also, from now on, you're going to help one person. Guys, look. If I can stress the importance of this statement to you, if there's one thing I want you to take away from today, it's to remind yourself of this always, okay? From now on, you help one person with one problem, with one program, with one system or method, okay, at one price point. Does that sound pretty simple?
Yeah.
That's your whole business right there. I was taught by my coach that if you don't scale your online business and program and coaching to $1 million a year, you should not make another product because you can. You haven't perfected it. right? Why would I do bodybuilding, CrossFit, powerlifting, calisthenic work, and endurance training? You know, why would I try all these different training styles every single month if I'm trying to have a goal of just aesthetics? It doesn't make any sense, right? If your goal is to make money and to create predictability in your schedule and to attract a high-ticket client, this is what you want to do, okay? It's one person with one problem, one program, one system or method, okay? And then one price point. I'm going to show you how to actually apply this. This is how my coach sold me a long time ago, by the way. He's like, it's really that simple. And when you have this whole thing down, it creates so much clarity in your business because right now you're thinking, I need clients, I need to sell, I need to make money. You're not thinking right, you're thinking scarce, okay? The more you niche down, the more people you'll attract, okay? Because they need to know who to come to. All right, let's talk about crafting your offer and elevator pitch. Does anybody have any questions before we move forward here? Is this making sense?
Yep.
Is this ringing some bells? Is this helpful? Okay, I want to make sure, right before, Alexis, you're quiet over there. Yeah? Yeah, good. All right, just making sure everybody's aware. Nobody's falling asleep on me, all right? So we got the elevator pitch. So I've said this before to a few of you. Like, people don't want a 1/4-inch drill bit, they want a 1/4-inch hole in the wall so they can hang a picture, right? What do I mean by that? It means people don't want the tools to do the job. Oh, I'm gonna give you workouts. I'm gonna give you a nutrition plan. I'm gonna give you this. They don't care about those. They don't care about the type of training you do, right? They care about the result they're gonna get from it, right? Like, I could sit here all day and tell you guys everything about sales and marketing that I know. But unless it translates down to you making the money that you want and getting the clients that you want, it won't matter to you, right? The result is what matters. You come to these sales meetings because you want to make more progress in your business, okay? You don't come to these sales meetings because you like seeing my beautiful face, right? Right?
Yeah.
Exactly, right? You're coming here for a reason. You have a reason attached to it, okay? So people don't want to pay to work out in a place they already pay to work out, right? Very simple, right to the point, cutthroat, remind yourself of that. You're not teaching people how to work out anymore. You're helping them get solutions, okay? We need to fix that mindset. So we're crafting our elevator pitch and our offer. We need to think about a couple other things. So what sets you apart? What sets you apart? Why are you different? Cupping and scraping, the mechanic dude, right? She's got a cage in her back, so she works with people that have spinal problems, right? But what I'm saying is, you know who these people work with because of that reason. Now, Ashley's got a lot of clients here in the past like 6 months because of she had an autoimmune condition, right? That allowed people to pull to her. But people related to that. Don't you think they're gonna wanna work with somebody who understands them? Hell yeah, right? I don't have an autoimmune condition. I probably wouldn't understand what you go through, right? So why would I pretend to? They're not gonna be attracted to me, okay? So although those things seem like they're not important, they're connection points for clients that are gonna help them create that bond with you and trust, right? Do they know, like, and trust you? Well, how can somebody trust you if you don't understand them? The reason why I don't work with a lot of women is because I'm not a woman. I don't understand a woman's body, what they go through, right? Their style of training, what's more effective for them. Can I train them? Can I help them get results? Of course I can, right? But does that mean I'm the best fit for them? No. Why would I lie to myself? I can tell you right now, there isn't a single person in this building that can build muscle on a man's frame faster than I can. I got proof of that. 15 pounds in 3 months. Anybody get 15 pounds of muscle pure on their clients' bodies in 3 months? I'm a specialist, right? I also couldn't do what he does. I also couldn't do what he does. I also couldn't do what she does, right? And I'm okay with that. But are you guys okay with niching down and accepting that you are a specialist in one thing? You need to make sure you can do that, okay? So what's your unique method? You know, how do you train? There's 2 things that I tell people. I focus on a style of training called isolation training, right? Now everybody knows what that is in here, but clients don't, right? What is isolation training? It's like this. If you go to clean your house, what's more effective, right? You pick up one thing per room, or you clean one room at a time? Exactly. Give it more attention. That's what we're doing with your body, right? Isolation training is focusing on one body part at a time to make sure we provide the most stress to the muscle so it grows. Does that make sense? You see how I didn't make that all complicated?
Yes.
That's sales, right? I do nutrient timing with my food. Does anybody know what nutrient timing is?
Yes.
How do you position your food to get the max benefits of your hormone response? Which basically means, how can I teach your body to build muscle and lose fat the fastest by positioning your food at certain times? You can do that, right? You can do it through supplementation, you can do it through meal timing. understanding the body's chemistry and the time of day and how these hormones are influenced. But guess what? You don't need to know that because I do. I take all the hard work out for you. Just do what I say. How does that sound? Pretty good, right?
Sign me up,
Yeah, sign me up. Let's go, right? Okay. What is the results you deliver? And this is the important part, in a defined timeline. If you guys have something that you provide a client with, weight loss, how much weight loss and when can you promise me that? You know why people get liposuction, right? They get liposuction for obvious reasons. It saves them the time and the effort barrier. Guess what? I'm gonna fall asleep, I'm gonna wake up, right? And I'm gonna be skinnier. And I didn't have to do anything except fall asleep. Just take some pain medication, some antibiotics, and I'm fine, right? Now your job as a specialist is say, okay, yeah, you're gonna take some antibiotics and that's gonna screw up your stomach because it's gonna kill all your bacteria. And that can cause all sorts of autoimmune flare-ups, right? That can cause all sorts of issues with your digestion down the road, right? It can cause all sorts of issues with you becoming chronically sick or food sensitive to some things too as well, right? Which means that you're gonna gain more fat over time, your body's digestion is gonna be screwed up, you're gonna have poor energy levels, and you're probably gonna get sick, okay? That's what's gonna end up happening, right? You know what they call antibiotics in microbiology? Atomic bombs. That's literally what it does to your stomach. You have a whole bunch of bacteria inside there, you drop one of those things down there, it fucking obliterates your stomach. Literally an explosion, okay? And that's what you're doing because you want to lay on the table and lose weight quick. Also on top of that, if you don't change your habits, you're probably gonna end up gaining the weight back anyway. Adipose tissue can regenerate. You can gain it back. It can expand again. You can gain all that weight back because you haven't reinforced the habits. What I can teach you to do is learn the skills, right? So that way if you ever fall off, you know how to get right back on this. Does that make sense? Perfect, right? Now, what the liposuction does is it reduces their time barrier and their effort barrier. And if you can find ways to do that by creating results in a defined timeline, that becomes valuable. Because some people don't want to go under the knife, get themselves cut up, you know? Get their fat removed from their body, put in their butt, whatever the hell they do nowadays, right? No, they don't want to do that, right? They want to do it conservatively, okay? And if you could provide that in a defined timeline, 15 pounds in 60 days of pure body fat. Sounds pretty enticing to me, right? 60 days doesn't sound like a long time. I can do 60 days. Right? Look at, we're already in what, August? It's crazy, right? Imagine if you would have been working on yourself that whole time, okay? So, why should they work with you? If I was a client, why should I work with you? You guys got to put your mind in that perspective. Why should I work with you specifically? Is there something that you provide me with that other people don't? What is that? Why should I work with you? Just put your mind there, okay? And what are you the go-to expert in? Okay, do people know that? Oh, this dude's a go-to expert for that. You got to trust me on that one. Because you got to also to understand is like, you can subspecialize. So maybe you start off with doing stretch. Maybe you start off with doing just weight loss. But then maybe the stretch goes into corrective exercise. Or maybe the weight loss goes into full-scale body composition, right? Building muscle and losing fat, right? You can further subspecialize, but you guys got to pick one. There's only 3 buckets here. It's weight loss, pain management, or body recomposition and transformation, right? If you can't fall within one of those 3 markets, you're going to have a hard time here. Okay? So we need to figure out what that looks like. Okay? And also, like, these questions are essentially going to help you craft these USP, these unique selling propositions. Like, what are those key points that set you apart from everybody else that people are like, that's what I'm looking for, that's what I'm looking for, that's what I'm looking for, right? And I'll show you guys how to do that in just a second here. So, like, what sets you apart from your competition and positions you to be the expert in your field, right? What is it? So let's talk a little about unique selling propositions, okay? So what is this? It's a real fancy way of saying, why should I work with you, right? Why should you work with me? Let me tell you why you should work with me. It's because of this, this, and this, right? So, and this is how you don't compete on price anymore. You compete on quality. And everybody knows that price doesn't matter. Does anybody think price matters? Okay. If you think price matters, I've heard a few people say it in the past, oh, this is expensive. No, it's not, right? I'll tell you how price doesn't matter. Let's use the opposite side of things, right? Does anybody want to buy my shoes for a discount?
What size are they?
Does that matter? Yeah, that doesn't matter, right? Maybe they're not your size, right? They're not your size, they're not your style, they're worn, right? They're not your style.
Give you a butt.
Exactly. You don't want them. The price doesn't matter though, is what I'm trying to tell you, right? Unless I'm famous, right? Like we were talking about, like my underwear or something, right? There you go. Say Dwayne Johnson's underpants. How much you spend for that? But what I'm saying is, it's not about the price, it's about the value. These aren't valuable to you. Now, if I had some brand new pair of expensive ass Jordans that are limited edition on the market or something, and I've never worn them once, and I say, do you want these for 150 bucks? Well, they're worth $3 grand, right? Of course you want them. If I got a Lamborghini sitting in a parking lot for $5,000, I just don't want it. I've never touched it. I just don't have room for it in my garage. Do you want it? Why not? Price doesn't matter. Value does, right? So we need to think about that. So with unique selling propositions, I love this chart, right? So this one right here, just so if you can't see it, it says what your brand does well. This one says what your competition does well. And this one says what the customer wants. All three of these factors are important, okay? Now, if you do something that your brand does well and it's what your customer wants, that's the go zone right there. Your customer wants this and you do it well. This is where you want to stay, right? Now, if your brand does this well or you do this well, right, and it's what your competitor does well, who the fuck cares? Now you guys are just competing on price. Who could do it cheaper, right? You guys both do that service and now all you're doing is competing on price. This doesn't matter, okay? Now, what the customer wants and what your competition does well, well, this, who cares either? Why are you focusing on the customer? Do you think Apple focuses on their competition? No. If I ask you, what kind of company is Apple? At first it was what? Oh, they were a computer company. They were a computer company, right? And then they started making these iPods. People are like, nobody's going to carry on an iPod. We got CD players. What the hell's an iPod? And then they went into iTunes. And they dominated the entire music industry. And then they went into the phone industry. They weren't even done yet. And now they're doing Apple TV and streaming services, and they're going to all these different technology bases because they're not competing with anybody. They're not sitting there like Android saying, I'm going to make the best phone, right? You guys have fun with that. We're going to go change the world over here, right? They don't care what their competition's doing, and neither should you, okay? So, does this make sense? You need to focus on what you do well and what your customer wants, and you create an offer that's centered around that, and that's what your unique selling propositions are. What are the three things that you offer that are unique to you that your customer wants? Okay, I'm going to show you how this applies in a second. Okay. I think I just went backwards. No, that's right. Okay. So, okay, right, let's just jump all the way down here. Okay, this is one I covered in the other slide. So this is a help statement. So this is essentially how you create your elevator pitch, okay? You're thinking, well, how do I tell somebody what it is that I do in a short period of time to get their attention, right? It's called your elevator pitch. Why should somebody give you the time of day to sit down and talk with you? Well, you need to give them something extremely compelling in a short period of time that makes them want to sit down and talk with you. On top of building your brand, you also need to sell yourself too, right? Because you can be the best in the world, but maybe you're unapproachable. Right? How do you spike a conversation now? This is what's going to be your weapon for that. It has to be a help statement. Guys, this is how I was taught to market myself with business coaches, and it works effectively. You want to know how effective this is? Okay? The first time I applied this technique online right, I made about 30 grand in a month with literally 300 followers. Okay? That's crazy. Because I positioned myself as an expert, and I told people I helped them with very specific criteria. And the help statement is this: I help person with problem, right, get, fix, lose, gain desired result in defined timeline without undesirables with my program/method. Okay? Now, let me show you how simple this is. If you guys take this little equation and you fill this in, I fucking promise you it'll convert clients. I promise you it'll convert clients. I converted nobodies that didn't even know me online to paying clients. Okay? This will work for you. So for instance, I help busy moms lose 15 pounds of belly fat in 60 days without running, lifting heavy weights, or eating bland foods with my 60-day fat furnace. Does that warrant a conversation? I help with weight loss. Okay, how much? What timeline? What do you do that's specific? My USPs are, I can help you lose 15 pounds of belly fat in 60 days without running, lifting heavy weights, or eating bland foods. Those are the three undesirables people think about when they're going to lose weight, right? I don't want to eat bland foods, a bland meal plan. I don't want to lift heavy weights. It'll make me bulky, right? And I don't like running. So how am I going to lose weight? You see what I'm saying? Is this clicking?
Yeah.
Does this make some sense? If you guys do this singular thing, you will get a lot of clients, okay? As long as you understand the purpose of this. Again, going back to consumer psychology, why does this work, right? Well, I'm calling out a very specific person with a very specific problem. If everybody here was turned around, what's more effective? If I go and tap each one of you on the shoulders and try to have a conversation with you, or if I said, hey, who wants to make more money? Who wants to make $10,000 in the next 30 days in lifetime? You would all turn around. Do you see what I'm saying? Without hand-to-hand combat sales, going up and doing floor polls, right? Or hitting the call list. Does that sound intriguing to you?
I have a question.
Yes.
So should our I help statement be in our bio?
Yes. It should be the first thing in your bio. Let me ask you a question. How many people ask you about your certifications? Fucking zero.
I've been asked actually, not about certifications, but about like education.
How long have you talked to them though before they ask that question?
For a while.
Exactly. You've installed value. They're kind of curious, where the hell did you learn all this stuff? That's what they're asking about, right? But I'm saying in the first encounter with people, why should they even work with you in the first place? How do you establish credibility? How do you make somebody know, like, and trust you, right?
Get them to laugh.
You can do that too. That'll help them like you, right? Know, like, and trust. Remember, know, like, and trust. Know, like, and trust. Repeat it 100 times. Do they know who you are? They don't know who I am. Do they like you? Maybe they know you, but they don't like you, right? Do they trust you? Maybe they know and like you, but they don't trust you. You can't help me get results. Look at the way you look. That's how people think in this industry. Do you understand that? Like, if somebody comes to me, like, I'll give you an example. If some guy comes up and he's in shape and he wants to build muscle, do you think he's coming to Dacoa? You see what I'm saying?
She's a young chick.
Yeah, that's what. Let's leave. Come on, let's leave the sexist comments out of here, Devin. What are you doing? No, but what I'm saying is, you got to understand, people think simplistically like that. They're not going to have this rationale to it. They're trying to make decisions based on their emotional center. People make decisions based on their limbic system, their brain that makes decisions based on emotions. They don't make decisions based on logic. They use logic to rationalize their emotions after they made the decision. They don't use that to make the decision, okay? It's more emotional. All right, so do you see how this help statement works? I help person with problem get, fix, lose, gain, desired result in defined timeline without undesirables with my program/method. Easy. Easy, easy. You guys get this down? Imagine telling everybody that, like, when you're in a booth. Oh, hey, my name's Gideon, you know? By the way, I do cupping and scraping for people that have back pain, you know? So they don't have to do stretching or other things. I don't know. We'll come up with something for you. But you get the point, right? If you have all these things listed, you can literally kick it right out there the second you meet somebody. These people are in business. They know the deal, right? They expect this. But when you come up to them and you're kind of like, you know, you seem a little unconfident, right? They're going to pick up on that, right? And you guys should be. You should always be super confident. Why? Because I guarantee you know more than they do, right? And if you know more than they do, even 10%, you're always ahead of them. You can always continue to educate them, okay? The barrier of knowledge that you guys have in comparison to what they have is huge. So there should be no reason that you lack confidence having these conversations to get them where they need to go. Another thing too is when you sit down with somebody, the only thing they can offer you is money right now. You don't know anything about them. They have no connection with you. They don't owe you anything. The only thing they can offer is money. What can you offer them? Change. Solutions that they don't have, right? You have all the value, you have all the cards, you have all the power and authority in this conversation. Why should I work with you? Make them sell themselves to you. Why should I work with you? I don't work with everybody. That's what I tell everybody when I sit down with them. I'll be honest with you, I don't work with everybody. Because I don't need to.
I've been saying that too.
Yeah. Because I can't help everybody. That's what you tell them. If they pick up a sense of arrogance from that, you say, because I can't help everybody. Would you want somebody who's taking on every person that they talk to? No, because I'm not looking for clients. I'm looking for success stories. I offer very specific solutions, right? I help busy moms lose 15 pounds of belly fat in the next 60 days. That's what I can do for you, right? And I know how to do that without running, lifting heavy weights, or eating bland foods. That's what I know how to do, okay? I don't know how to do anything else. This is what I focus on. This is my specific market. And they say, you know what, my wife is perfect for this. This is exactly what she needs. You see what I'm saying? Like, how do people know what to come to you for? if you create a bad impression, or if they don't really know what you do, then they're just like, okay, well, how are you selling me this, right? How are you going to sell somebody something they don't want to need or know anything about? If anybody says they need to think about it, it's because they don't have enough information, right? They don't know, like, or trust you. They just want to get out of the conversation. And that's when you pin them down. No problem. Just out of curiosity, what exactly do you need to think about? Because I am the only source of information you have to make this decision today. I want to make sure everything's clear to you before you go home and think about this. Simple, right to the point. Bam, slap them down, right? All right. That's a copy of the slide there. Okay, so for those of you who don't have specialties and specializations yet, that's why I designed these programs. There is only 3 buckets at Lifetime. Somebody's coming in the door and they want some sort of guidance and routine, right? Maybe they just kind of don't know where to go. Maybe they just want some help understanding how to establish a flow through the floor, right? Or maybe they're just a lower ticket person who has trouble buying into something bigger out the gate. This routine pack, perfect. Low barrier, 1 month. It's got a finite amount of sessions to it. It's going to be something that's going to allow people to get in the door so you to demonstrate the value for them. And then people can sometimes keep re-upping with this, right? Or they're trying to lose weight and tone up. That's what they'll tell you. I'm just trying to tone up a little bit, lose a little bit of weight, 10 to 15 pounds. Perfect. We got a tone program for you, right? And then lastly is a transform program. That's the big daddy. That's the one that comes with all 3 services. And what I explain to people too with these buckets is, look, we don't provide sessions here, we provide solutions, right? You can go to EOS and get a session from a trainer. They can teach you how to work out on equipment, right? When you come here though, it's about solution seeking, right? People come here because of the quality. That's why you're not across the street paying $10 a month, because you value quality. You're coming to Lifetime for a reason, right? Well, we provide quality. That's what our department does, okay? So if you're looking for a solution, then we can help you because we have a solution-focused coaching model. Now, there's really only 3 reasons people come in. They're trying to establish some sort of routine. Maybe they are kind of rusty around the gym. They want to lose some weight, or they need a total body transformation. So which one of these do you think you fall within? You don't even need to ask them that. You can kind of get that through inquisition and questions. But essentially, you guys, if you don't have a specialty, you're going to go within one of these 3 buckets. And I'm going to teach you how to service on all 3 of these if you need help and guidance. Right? So if you want to further subspecialize, right? You want to be a weight loss specialist or a body recomposition specialist, I'll show you exactly what it takes to help people see results in very short periods of time. I'll teach you the entire system, how to help them diet, the supplements they should take, the workouts they should do. And when you follow that blueprint and system for a while, you'll be able to actually fully get out of that apprentice stage and go into more of the creative stages of things where you kind of craft your own program, right? Because you understand where to pull the information from now. You understand how people should be eating, how they should be training to lose body fat and gain muscle, right? How should they be doing those things? Well, I can create programs that'll teach you to follow these things within blueprint structures. This will create the system for you, right? So, yeah, bless you. For those of you who are having trouble specializing, one of these programs could be a perfect fit for you, okay? So that's what I want you guys to think about. Is this valuable today? Yeah. All right, beautiful. All right, guys, hey, thanks for coming out. You know, you need anything at all, you want to regurgitate this information, I could also send these slides out to you. This is very valuable stuff, right? You have to pay a lot of money online for people to give you this stuff. I'll give it to you for free, but I want you to practice it, okay? Please. All right, that's it, guys. Absolutely. Have a great day.
Yeah, I swat.